Welcome everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for this webinar on signature processing within NetDocuments. So before we get started, we're just going to go through just a couple slides before I sort of do a live demo for you. So first thing I wanted to do is to just talk to you about our signature process. So for almost everyone that is attending this webinar, obviously signing sending out your contracts externally has become a big thing. Something to keep in mind with those is when we're sending out external signatures or contracts for signature, we need to make sure that we're tracking, we're getting confirmation of those signatures, and we're managing the results from our signatures. So again, there's a lot of elements that we need to sort of track as this part. So the big thing for me when we talk about external signatures, especially when we're talking about an electronic model, is when we talk about proving that something is signed. So almost any document signature program that you're going to be leveraging needs to leverage the details of a signature, right? Where someone signed it, proving where someone signed it. Trying to include as much data as possible so that unlike a person filling it out with a pen, we're trying to use data to sort of prove that, even though that recipient wasn't in front of us, that person indeed signed that particular contract. So again, these days with all of the details, it's pretty hard to dispute. Moving on from there, what we're going to talk about is some of these live details that you're sort of looking at on my screen. So basically, with remote signatures, in my mind, it's all about location, location, location. So inside DocuSign, which is what we're going to be looking at today, you have the capability to see completed contracts. You'll be able to look at the envelope history. So again, if you think about you sending out a normal contract to someone in an envelope, same sort of concept exists when we're talking about DocuSign. When you send it out through DocuSign, DocuSign does create what they call an envelope, and part of that envelope, just like a regular envelope would have a stamp, and obviously is what you're sending out to your recipient. Same sort of concept DocuSign built as well. You have sign-in locations that will give you details. So, again, I'm actually going to show you a live example of what that looks like. But the goal with our signature process, and it should be your goal as well, is that we are moving to try and get to a sort of seamless management solution, right? Something where you're taking your contracts, you're sending them out, hopefully via some sort of management software element where basically it gets sent out, comes back into that software once signatures are done. It's more of a fully automated process. Without a fully automated process, there is the human element, right? You have a human that is taking, maybe uploading a contract into a DocuSign type program to the recipients, and then when that document comes back signed, they're having to take that signed document and put it somewhere, and let's be honest, these days with all of the distractions of sort of, COVID and what have you going on, we're all a little bit more distracted. So something that can help either yourself or your staff help process these signatures is certainly going to be something very helpful. So without further delay, we are going to hop into my live demo. I'm going to minimize this. And what I want you to show you is my NetDocuments system. So I realized that for most people, they fall maybe within two categories. Maybe you have NetDocuments and maybe you have not actually activated the signature piece of the program. And then scenario two is maybe you don't have a document management system at all, and you're just curious how those pieces fall together. So for those of you that have a system that have it connected, I'm going to go through sort of one initial step that will be for those others that may not be experienced with how a document management system might work. So within my NetDocuments system, I currently have my little Lebowski matter that we're going to be working on today, favorited on my desktop, so I don't have to go out and do a search for it, right? It's something that I'm using quite regularly, so I've set it as a favorite. I just simply click on that name and we're going to go inside of my Lebowski matter. And so for those of you that haven't seen this before, I have all of my documents. They are summarized by what we call document types. So today we're going to be dealing in our agreements. I can actually drop a little drop down here and look at a display of my agreements on this item, which we call a filter, or I can actually just click on that agreement filter and go into my documents that are saved as agreements. So first thing I want to point out to you is we're going to be dealing with the Lebowski bankruptcy contract. What you'll see is there's only one version of that particular document. We have our document ID. So this is the one that we're going to be working to send out for signature. So I don't know of any firm or organization that will send out a Word document to someone for signature. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with our Word document. We're going to click on it, and within NetDocuments, we go through a checkout process. Similar to you basically going into a library and checking out a book, if anyone actually still does that. Same sort of concept happens here. I've clicked on my document. We are launching that over into Microsoft Word here. This is the contract we're going to be working with today. So again, we need to convert this into a PDF document. So what I'm going to do is just use my little shortcut Save As button here. And we are going to save a new version of our existing document. So in the background, we have our Lebowski contract. There's only one version. We are going to convert this to a PDF. And since we can name versions, which I think is incredibly beneficial, we are going to basically say that this is ready for signing. And maybe we even have as part of our workflow that we're putting in our date that we're sending it out for signature, today being 9/18/20. I'm just simply going to hit save. My system is going to create a new version of this particular document. And while it's going through that process, it's basically going to pop open my new version of, which is now a version number 2 in my PDF format. This is the one that we want to work with. So what I'm now going to do is I'm just going to simply close out of this, X out, and when I X out of this inside of, when I X out of this particular document inside a document that's connected to NetDocuments, it basically just removes my check mark. You'll see that we went from our version number 1 to actually 2 versions here. So we have my version, which is ready for signing, and unfortunately, I named it wrong. So I'm just going to correct that really quick. We're going to just say that this is ready and it is ready for signing. So I'll just update my version name. It's all ready to go. I'm going to close out of that. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is we are going to use an additional function, which is we are going to send it to an application. So the way that this works is that NetDocuments is connected to DocuSign via a program called Trumpet. So think of Trumpet is basically a bridge, or for some of you technical folk, it is called an API or application interface. So it connects NetDocuments to DocuSign. It literally acts like a bridge. It will receive updates from Trumpet along the way. So when I selected send to application, I now have this option to select my Trumpet signature bridge integration. So what it's doing right now is it's taking the document within NetDocuments over here, and it is going to start the handoff process, and it's now transferring it into DocuSign. So here is our contract within DocuSign now. Now, what I'm going to do is come back over here because I want you to see this. I think that this for your organization is going to be incredibly powerful, because not only once we check it out within DocuSign, does it check it out, and it will leave it checked out during the sort of contract transmission process, but it also will receive updates from DocuSign throughout the process. So right now, it's just showing us that it's currently inside of a draft process. You'll see that when I click on it, I could view it, but it's not going to let me make an update because it's currently checked out. So again, it sort of locks it in its current state. So if we flip back over here to our DocuSign process, not everyone has used DocuSign before. So, for those that have seen DocuSign, this might be a little repetitive. For others, this might be sort of a new experience for you. So the first thing I'm going to do within DocuSign is I can put in that I have a signer. And with DocuSign, you can put in multiple signers. You could have a numerous number of signers. But what's important about DocuSign is I can add in, just recipients, people that don't necessarily need to sign, people that just might be copied on this contract. So that helps out, because let's just say that I'm the signer, but I need to copy others on the contract so that they can see that I signed it and they get a copy, so that we're not having to keep, throughout our signing process, send out copies to external people so they're aware that something took place. You can add in recipients and make them part of the process without necessarily having to be a signer. So just something to, sort of mention to you to be aware of. So next, I'm going to click on next, and we're going to get into the signing phase of our contract. So with DocuSign, here's my contract here. I'm going to just scroll down here to the bottom. And for my signing process, I'm going to require that my signer basically signs right here. And I can add things like initials if I decide I need initials. If I need a date stamp, I can certainly add in the date stamp. Whatever fields I necessarily need, I can add those into my contract. I also have a way of creating templates for some of these forms as well. So again, if you don't feel like clicking and dragging, maybe you want something that's more set in stone, you can also set up some templates as well. So now that we've added our fields on our contract, we're just going to go ahead and click send here, and we're going to send this out to our recipient for signature. So what happens is, since we sent it out for signature, basically, again, this is constantly going to be updating my NetDocuments system. And while I'm hitting refresh, it's just letting me know the current status. So we went from a draft, now we are awaiting our signature. So I'm going to just come over here and talk to you about that timing, the timing of our contract. So one thing with Signature Bridge is it shows us both sides of how it's connected. So let me just point that out to you. So right here, this is the connector to NetDocuments, and then this is the connector to DocuSign. So I can click and view in DocuSign if I want to get a status of what is going on with that document. I could view it in here and get a sense of where things are at. Obviously, we know, because not only in our document management system lets us know where we're at. So I don't actually even need to go inside of here, because of the fact that Signature Bridge is communicating between systems. Now, what I'm going to do is bring over, I'm going to open up my email here, and I want you all to see what it looks like when a recipient receives an email from DocuSign. So again, some of you may have already seen this before, but I just want you to see what it looks like. So here's my email with my contract. You'll see that I have this option now to review that document. So for my recipient who's going to be signing this, this is what that experience looks like. They simply hit continue. They're going to let the system know that they're going to start this process, and it will take them down to every field that you have required that they fill out. You'll see what's nice is date just auto-populates for me. The minute that they hit start, the assumption is they're going to be signing it. They can choose to either literally sign with their mouse, or they can just choose to use an automated signature that basically creates a unique document ID per that signer. So again, it's not something that's replicated. It's unique to every individual that's using DocuSign to sign. So now that I've signed my contract here, I can simply just hit finish, and this process is considered done. Now, the reason I bring this up to you is that that over here within Trumpet Signature Bridge, there is about a 10 to 15 minute delay when someone signs that a batch process runs, and it looks for the status of any contracts that you have out there to see if the status has changed when they're in a signature state. Now, again, my document management system still knows that it's awaiting signature. Now, if I know that it's been signed, all I have to do is hit refresh status, and the system goes out what Trumpet does is it goes out, looks at DocuSign and determines it's been signed. And what it's done is it's transferred or updated NetDocuments with that status. And what you see is we started with version 1, we went to version 2, and now we're at version 3. When I click on my version number right here, you'll see that it's automatically moved the signed contract to be version number 3. Now, the thing that NetDocuments does allow us to do is that once a signed contract happens, it's the same thing as having a piece of paper where someone has put ink to it. And so what NetDocuments has created is there's a function over here in our more options, and it is called Sign Document. When we click on Sign Document, we're going to get this little page, and basically at the end of the day, this lets us know that the minute we click OK, it's going to put this little sign next to this document. What that means is that this document can never be edited. It can never be deleted. It is in the document management system forever. Just like if you took a signed contract, you would probably put it in maybe a secure filing cabinet or something of that nature, that, and you would make sure that obviously someone couldn't affect that signed contract. Same thing that NetDocuments is doing right here. They're just doing it with an electronic stamp here that ensures that this contract will never be can never be edited, adjusted, or deleted. Now, so that completes that full circle, from us adjusting the document to sending it out. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you within DocuSign is that I'm going to view that document in DocuSign. And so if you all have DocuSign or are signing up for DocuSign, there by all means is the ability for you to do all sorts of different things with the documents you send out with your Documents account. So what you can do, one of those things I showed in my earlier slide is that for this signed contract, I can come in here and do a history. And so what history will tell you is all the details. So it tells you obviously the subject of what went on, gives you a specific envelope ID, lets you know what was enclosed, how many documents did you sign out for signature, lets you know who the recipient was, when it was sent, when it was created, when it was completed, what the status date was when it was completed, lets you know how it was signed, it was online, what account used to transfer it over, lets you know all of the activity. So when it was originally registered, when it was sent, when it was opened, when it was viewed. I mean, we're talking milliseconds here, but it is literally tracking all of those things. And, I actually showed this to some on my team and they're like, this is creepy, but when you hit sign location on this little link, it literally shows you, this is my house. This is the longitude, latitude of my house. And this is, just in case you didn't know where I'm located, well, as I scroll out here, you will notice that I am actually in Colorado. So it will literally take you to the exact location that the signature took place. So it can be a little creepy. It'll actually show you my exact house location in my neighborhood. So again, very hard to dispute. We have all of these details and it will be tracking history, just like NetDocuments is tracking that history as well. So what's great is if you need to download or print the details, those are available to you. And again, this is taking place using that application signature bridge that is, again, the middleman or the connector between DocuSign and our NetDocuments system. So this is basically what I had to show you today. Hopefully it's given you a little overview of how NetDocuments works, how we can obviously use our document, convert it, and use this external program to facilitate the signature process, especially in sort of our today's current age of the remote experience. So I want to thank you so much for joining me, and I'm going to hand this right back over to Karen.
Great, thank you, Ted. Thanks for showing us how to process signatures socially distanced. Great job. And thanks to all of you for attending. If you were intrigued by Ted's presentation this afternoon and want to learn more about processing signatures with NetDocuments, or have any other document management questions, I encourage you to take advantage of our free 30-minute DMS consultation. This is your chance to speak with one of the DMS experts at Affinity and get those important questions answered. Just reply to the follow-up email I'm about to send and I'll do the rest. We have more DMS focused sessions coming soon with a binder how-to coming up next, and email management with your DMS in October. You can check out all of our upcoming webinars by jumping onto affinityconsulting.com/webinars. I do have one other shameless plug for you. We have an exciting day-long conference called Lemonade coming up. Affinity is co-sponsoring Lemonade for Legal, where an amazing group of legal industry experts will provide insight on running today's law firm with just the right amount of focus on health and wellness, happiness, and positivity to make the best of the rest of 2020 and get us ready for 2021. Can't come soon enough. I hope you'll check it out at lemonadeforlegal.com. Please do share your feedback with us on the survey that follows. I hope you'll join us again soon. Stay safe and healthy, everyone.